Hi, welcome. I don't know what side of YouTube you're on, but I'm glad you've landed on this side. Introduction, a little bit about me, since this is my second time at doing YouTube, so I figured we might as well bring it all back to the beginning. So my name is Washara. I'm 21 years old. I'm a student in uni, and the main reason for me doing this is because I want to share a lot about books. Books are something that a point of passion for me. I really enjoy reading. I really like to immerse myself in the lives and in the feelings of other people without, leaving my own body, like, while still living my own, human experience. So I used to read a lot when I was a kid. I read a lot of the, well, not a lot if I'm being honest, but I read the abridged kids version of some classics like Tom Sawyer and Oliver Twist and a couple of others I can't remember. And just like most kids, I really liked the Wimpy Kid series, The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I also liked Dog Diaries. The more I read, and more particularly the better like quality of stuff I read, the better my writing improved in school. And so I was really happy like when I get awards here and there for my writing, because it was something that came very easily to me. And so one lesson that I got really early is that you just have to be good at one thing. It's not necessary that all of us be a jack of all trades at many things. And so I figured that the more I read, the better my writing got. And so, yeah, that was primary school for me. I really enjoyed my reading phase and I look back very fondly at that time. But then high school rolled around and now there are set books. That's compulsory reading. If you are to pass the exam, you need to know the books from cover to cover. And for me, I didn't really like any of the English books. I didn't like one like passionately. They were all just meh for me. And I actually preferred the Kiswahili books that we read, though I didn't like Tumbo because Tumbo was a lot. So yeah, that was high school. And as a result, if you're anything like me, I'm sure your leisure reading took a bit of a downfall because you're in a very high pressure environment. You're doing like 6 or 7 other subjects, and so it was literally almost impossible to find any time for reading. Though I do remember in Form 4 there was a time when I had bought The River and the Source. It used to be tested like many years ago, and I read it just for fun. And I'd have to give that book to my friend because if I didn't keep watch of the clock, I would read so much of it and then I'd end up not getting other stuff done. It was a very stolen moment, but it brought me a lot of joy, just remembering how vigorously I used to do this thing, and I kind of, fell back for a couple of years. So now uni rolled around and I didn't read like for the rest of 2022 because I finished high school in March until 2023 when I was doing my attachment somewhere. And I met some psychology students from USIU. And I was really challenged by these girls because, they're psychology students, so, of course they are reading. Well, maybe some don't, but these girls read. They were reading like 9 books in a month. I was like, where are you getting all the time for this? And so it just got me thinking about my own situation at the time. I had been in a reading slump for a couple of years. I hadn't done much. And so when I met them, I had the chance to borrow books from them, to talk about books. And it was a very nice time for me because it got me back into reading. And I was actually surprised that year in 2023 because I read Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda. And if you know that book, it's very thick. It's over 400 pages. It is quite, I should put a trigger warning if you haven't read it, or if you have read, you know that the themes in that book are pretty heavy. There's a lot of discussion around war and violence, but it is a very beautiful story. It is heartbreaking, but it's very beautiful. Yeah, so this channel is basically going to show you my reading journey so far, all the mistakes I've made, where I should have exercised more wisdom in picking books and in researching before I read a book. And that takes me now to the specific, if I can call it, niche that I like to discuss. For those of you who might be Christian or you're theologically minded, if I can put it that way, I found that in my experience, in times where I didn't exercise care in the genres or the books that I read, it took a bit of a toll on my mental health, because you know books are art, just like music or any other form. And so when you happen to immerse yourself too much, maybe you're too angry or you're too sad about something that you're reading, it can occupy your mind quite a bit, and it can kind of disrupt your normal life. I know this might seem weird to those of you who don't read, you're not interested in reading, and that's fine too. But in my experience, I want to share with you guys the continuous like debate that's been going on in my head, which a lot of people, I guess, don't really consider, because it's very easy to point out the dangers of like the common vices in the world. Like, if you're drinking, we know the consequences. If you smoke too much, we know what will happen. If you gamble too much, we know what will happen. But then I think the question remains, is there any harm in reading? Because I'm sure a lot of you know what book talk is, and you know the kinds of books that circulate on there. I think it's great. First of all, it's great that people are getting back into reading. It's wonderful. But if you had like a Wattpad face, personally, I didn't. I didn't have one, like, you know, in class 7, in class 8. But if you had one, you know, mistakes were made. We move past that, you're forgiven. But I think for the young kids, like those who are 12, 13, 14, a lot of book covers tend to be quite deceiving, especially like with the cartoonification of book covers. I'll put a book somewhere here. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about, where some themes are like pretty heavy for kids, and you know, you go into something unknowingly. You're just there to have a good time. And so I think that if that happened for you, I get it, it's totally relatable. And so now that, you know, I'm older and I've taken a bit of a look at myself, at the kinds of things I like to read, I just want to look back and also look forward at what were the things I was reading, what did they make me feel at the time, and you know, how can I continue to grow? Because personally for me, if there's something I don't like to read, it's self-help. I don't like it, even though myself could use some help. I don't read self-help. I understand that obviously when it comes to genres, there's a great like discrepancy. For example, if it's romance, we obviously know that the crowd or the target audience for that genre is women. But when it comes to self-help, it's men, for like pretty obvious biological reasons. Not saying that the two can't mix, but yeah, I just want to talk about that and so much more. You know, even just imparting my own biblical or theological views into some of the books that I'm reading. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for watching this video. I don't know if it was too long or too short, but yeah, there's a lot more to come. That's basically it from me. Bye.